Okay, so I'm gonna share with you how I do the add the gunfire to my videos. Okay, so what you see here is like a finished product, but notice the flame right here. Okay, now I start out with a stock uh, footage green screen, and that's this file right here. And I'll just double click on that. Now you notice I've had all the mask and everything inside of there. I originally started with a green screen, but I had to mask certain areas off because as it moves, the arms move, the guns move. Okay, so I need that area to be masked off. All right, so we'll get out of that, and I'll just show you how I put the fire and now the muzzle flash in. Now, as you see here, we got muzzle flash in front of the gun. Now, remember that footage you just saw, that green screen is back here. So what I do is I place, now I'm going to have to find it here. Okay, so I'm using a footage called automatic fire, and that would be this here. Now, I'll just double click on that. Okay, now you can see there's smoke. So I'm gonna bring it back to where, take it up to where there's flame. And okay, something's going on with the computer here. Let's give it a second. Okay, there we go. There's our flame. So that muzzle flash I stick in between files. In other words, it has to be below this file, okay, and above this file. Let me get out of here because that is the image, the background image here. So by having this on top, my arms on the top here, and I'm using Adobe After Effects in case you haven't noticed yet. And then this one goes underneath the arms, so that puts it back here. So that means my arms are on top of that file. And now you see the muzzle flash. So the muzzle flash is not on top of me. It is in between me, this file, and this file. So we'll go up to where the automatic fire is, right here. And as you can see, that's in between the top file, which is up here, and the image file, which is right here, the background image. So what I do is I'm going to open this up and transform it. So since it's in between, it appears that the gunfire or the muzzle flash is in front of the gun and on top of the background, which gives it the look that it's actually firing. So I'm going to move this muzzle flash so you can see what I do, because you have to position it. So I'm going to start with this one here. I'm going to move it let me see, hold on a second. Make sure I get the right file. I'm here. Oh, okay, wrong file. I want to open up this one. Okay, so we are here on this file, and I'm going to transform it, and I'm going to move the muzzle flash so you can see how I position it. See how I move that? So I can put it anywhere I want. So of course I place it right there because that's where it needs to be. All right, so you might wonder about the timing. So what I do is I zoom in on it and I look at when the slide begins to come back. So we're going to inch forward on this a little bit. See how that slide's coming back? Now it just started coming back right there. I'll go back one more, see? Now I'll click it forward and that muzzle flash shows up and the slide blows back. As you can see right there, begins to blow back. And then the flash, which is quick, goes out, and then the slide goes forward. Now this one fires, and you see the muzzle flash here. We go one more. That slide comes back. You can see the ejecting shells also. And then fires again. See it blow back. Now you say, well, it didn't blow back immediately. Well, it's because I'm going frame by frame. So what you're seeing is, an instant, a microsecond. So when it actually plays, you will see that muzzle flash take place much quicker. See? All right, now the ejecting shells are the same principle. I want the shells to eject from the firearm, and I want it to look realistic. So we'll go back. So we'll step it forward again. First we see now the timing on that, I must have got that wrong. The timing on that shell shouldn't have happened. Well, yeah, wait a minute. I gotta go back a little further. Yeah, that's right. It's correct. Okay, we'll go back. So inch it forward. Okay, you see that shell ejecting. Now, that's the last thing that takes place, because you get your muzzle flash, you get your blowback, and then you get your ejecting shell. And you have to try to make the timing right on that. All right, so it fires again. It's starting to come back. Okay, now that was a quick one, but it ejected. You see that shell eject. Now I have a blur on those shells. And I'll just go to, let me see which one of those that is. Right here, you see this is a motion blur. And it makes that image blurry, as though it's moving. So I'm going to turn that off. Okay, wait a minute. I got to find out which file I'm looking at here. This one. No, this one. This one is one of the first ones. It would be up here. Okay, that's the second. Right there. I want to catch those ones you see on the screen right here. And they're not there. Okay, wait a minute. I think that's it there. All right, now this is the trajectory coming from the gun. Now if I want to turn the blur off on that, no, that's not the right file. Okay, let's find it. Okay, here we go here. This is the file. So I'm going to turn the blur, motion blur off on that, and you can see that's a shell that ejects. So we're going to back that up. Okay, now you're going to see it's going to jump out of the gun. You see the flash, you see the slide come back. Last thing that happens is the ejecting shell. I'll go a frame ahead, and there you see that ejecting shell right there. We'll follow its trajectory here, 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 and off screen. All right, so I'm going to go back and put that blur back on it again. Okay, put the blur on. Okay, go forward. And you see here's the shell there. Go ahead one more. And that shell goes here. So that's how I get the motion blur on the shell, to make it look like it's ejecting. And you position it so that it is appearing to come out of the ejection port. So it's all about the timing that you use. So I'll go back. Notice this one here. I don't know which one that is. Let me try to find it. Not that one. Not that one. Okay, getting close. Now that's the trajectory of the other rounds coming out of this gun. Okay. And I'll go down. I gotta find out which shell that is. What you have to do when you're doing this, you have to repeat the files. These files are all the same right here. These are all 45 caliber cartridges. and you have to position them so that they react at the time that you want them to react. And I think that one is it. Oh no, wait a minute. No, that's not it. We'll go back, start from the beginning. Here, 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 here. That's not it. What's going on here? Okay, just bear with me a second. Okay, I think it might be this one here. No, it's not it because it would highlight a triangle on the screen. Okay, this one. Let me try turning that off. That's not it either. Turn this one off. That's not it. And turn that one off. That's not it. Okay, give me a break already. There we go. Okay, you see how it's highlighted? And so that's that particular shell. Now I'm going to turn that off, and as you can see, you see the shell there. And we'll go ahead one, and you see the trajectory of that shell, and we'll go back. Okay, that shell disappears. Okay, it's coming out of the ejection port, and that happens fast, so you're not going to see it immediately, but it's jumping right out of that ejection port, and the trajectory goes along this line. Remember, the trajectory of this other one goes that way. You can't make them identical. Okay, so let me turn that back on, and I can position those shells in the same way. Let me turn it off again, and I can show you, because you want them to be in a certain position. I'll just raise it up. See? I can arc the trajectory, just move it wherever I want to. See, that shell was moving there. Okay, I don't want to undo that change. And so those are the two things that are important when you're editing videos like this. Now, we began with the green screen, which was the top file here. Okay, and let me double click on that. And that was the original footage that we started with. I'm going to get rid of these masks for a second. Where is it? Shut the mask off. Okay, hold on. Let me get out of here. Okay, we're going to turn the mask on this one. And you can see where I had the green screen and all these different masks. And these masks mask off all the green that might show up through my image. I don't want that green to show up. So as I move ahead, you can see the gun gets like right next to that line. It would disappear if it passed it. And then I'll go ahead another screen. I'll see it comes back. And so I don't want anything in this image to cross over that mask, because this mask here is blocking certain artifacts that take place. Like when I was actually shooting the gun, BBs were bouncing. So you could see the BBs bounce in between here. Now, I had to mask that off because I don't want you to see the BBs that are coming through the center here, or the ones that bounce over here, or the ones that bounce over here. Then there's little bits of artifact along the arm of green screen that appears. So I have to mask each frame so that the mask follows the movement of my arms. Okay, see that? And that way that green doesn't show up. So when I turn the mask off, you're not seeing the green. Now here's a little bit right there. You're not seeing the green screen. You're just seeing the stock footage that I have underneath this file, which is image right here, down here. All right, that would be this image. And you don't want anything to bleed over onto that image. So let's do a little recap. Of course, I'm not going to go through every little step in detail, but I'm just going to go back over it so that you can see what I've done. I begin with this file. I drop it down into a composition. It becomes this file here. Okay, that's my comp. That's what I'm working with. And then I bring in my green screen image. Well, actually, when I drop this in, that's when I do my green screen editing. It comes in as a green screen. Okay, and then I do all the editing, and the masks come later. You don't always have to mask like this. The reason I did it is because I had artifacts and I had to clear those artifacts from the image and make sure that only the image that I wanted to come through comes through. So that's why I had to do it that way. But you don't always have to do it that way. And let me turn that back to that. And uh, once I've placed this image in, that's when I bring my background in, which is right here. And I'll put that background underneath this file because I want this on top. Okay, then I want to bring in my gunfire, my muzzle flash. So what I do again is I wait until I see a blowback, like here, it started to blow back. So I know that the previous frame right there is the frame where I want the muzzle flash. And I showed you how I move that muzzle flash. You can also size it. I can make that muzzle flash larger or smaller uh, through the uh, transform. And let me show you. We got 100% scale on that. I'm going to raise the scale. And I'm not on the right file. Okay, let me undo that, but I'll show you how I can raise the scale. I think it would be this one. Okay, that's it. And we're going to close that one off. Click on this one and raise it. Okay, no, that's not the right one either. Okay, it's one of these. Just give me a second. Be patient. Be patient. Just wait on me. Okay, I think that one is the one right there. And if it's not, then I'll show you something. There you go. Okay. And you have to wait a second. Every now and then the program stops responding, as you can see right here. But that will clear itself up in a second. Okay, there we go. All right, so I can raise that muzzle flash up to whatever size I want. Okay, but I want to keep it nice and small, proportional, so that it looks like it belongs there like that. Okay, and I'm just going to undo any changes I did there. And let me see, go back here, undo change. Here we go. All right, so we get that in between this file and this file. We get that muzzle flash in between. That way it's looks like it's behind the gun. And then I showed you the ejecting shells, how I did that, how I positioned them, how I make them look like they have motion by adding the motion blur. And you saw the trajectory lines which I put in so that the shells eject in a certain direction, certain height, certain way. So we're going to run this. We'll start right here. We're going to run this for a second just so you can see how it plays out. And here we go. Okay, so you say, well, what about the sound? Okay, what I do is I add sound files, and I do that in the same way that I do everything else. Now, the sound doesn't really matter where I put it because it's audio, it's not video, so it's not going to appear over anything. So here's a full auto file right here. And I'm going to give it some sound here. And I'll run it. And here we go. So again, the sound is a little bit different. I'll show you. It's a sound wave. Okay, and the waveform. So what I generally do with this, because it's full auto fire, what I normally do is I will take the file, and the minute I see that, I know that it's time to add that muzzle flash, that's when I'll line that sound up so that you'll get that first sound as soon as you see that flash. And here we go. Watch how it runs right up here. You start to hear the sound. Okay. So this is just brief, and just wanted to share with you how I make my videos when I add gunfire to them. Of course, I know you probably don't get it yet. Um, Adobe After Effects is a program that you have to learn, but that's basically how I do my editing. All right, so thanks for watching, everyone, and come back for more. And we'll call that a day. We'll shut this down and stop.